Guys, welcome back to the Unbreakable podcast. My name is Sarah Chin. I am your host. Today we have a phenomenal guest, sales coach and trainer, Anthony Lobosco. How are you today, my man? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing awesome. And Star, it is so awesome to be here. I'm so grateful to be that you asked me to be on.
Dude, for the audience's sake, I know that you're in sales. Tell the audience what it is that you do, how you do it, why you do it, all the things, and a little bit about your story.
Well, w- okay. So I'm a career salesperson and entrepreneur. So I've been in technology sales for 3 decades and selling in different markets, different technologies and everything like that. Companies like Cisco Systems and Verizon and so on and so forth. Point is that concurrently to that, I always felt that there was something inside of me that I needed to start a business because what I was doing was just not sustainable. And then all of a sudden, 3 years ago, it all made sense. I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And here's the kicker. I've had MS since I'm 18 years old. Now, I'm 53 right now, so that's a long freaking time, right? So all of a sudden I realized that, whoa, what I was feeling, back in the day and everything like that was something that was true to me and what my limitations are, or not even my limitations on how I need to compete. So what I did was, because of sales, I was then able to lean into what I love to do, what I'm really good at, and everything like that. So I restructured and redefined my entire career based on my health and leaning into sales. So as Sarah mentioned, I'm a sales coach, and what I do is that, well, I'm more than a sales coach, and I hate to even say like I'm one thing, but my company, Lobo AI, what I do is I build sales processes for founder-led businesses. Now, here's the awesome part of it. The way I met Sarah is that I was reaching out to her as a potential target for me or someone to possibly do some business. So here's just another human I guess lesson for everyone, right? In sales. She did respond to me in my DM and everything like that. And I just noticed that she was doing something complimentary, that she obviously, does something different than I do, but more on the copywriting side, on, sales and things like that, in, I guess, attracting people inbound and referrals and everything like that. So I said, whoa, this is pretty cool. Maybe we can collaborate. So instead of, because she said she was totally fine with everything, which she is, we had a conversation. Next thing you know, we kicked it off. We had a famous conversation. It was unbelievable. And here I am today.
Well, um, thank you, brother. Appreciate that. High regards for me. And I think the common thing about what I'm doing is like people are starting to realize that like, wow, she doesn't sound like everybody else. I'm like, and that's the problem right now is like everybody wants to have this like politically safe language. And I actually was on LinkedIn literally right before we jumped on this podcast, and I was like commenting about um I was commenting about how not to be an asshole to people. And I was like, I still literally said on LinkedIn, I was like, it's really not that difficult not to be an asshole. And
Well, for some people it is. For a lot of people it
well, that's because you're
is.
pathetic, you're lonely, and you hate yourself. And that's about it, right? And, when you carry that hatred in your heart and you don't know how to let go of it, who is it really a reflection on? Is it a reflection on me or is it a reflection on you? Right. And it sounds like to me a lot of people are projecting, especially now when it comes to corporate language too. People that become entrepreneurs outside from the coming from the corporate world, they think that they can bring this corporate ethos or ideology with them in entrepreneurship. And I'm here to tell you, as someone who graduated college and started a business 7 months later, that shit does not work here. I'm sorry. You cannot have a corporate mentality and or ethos and or language and think it's gonna work in entrepreneurship. People want real right now. I'm sorry, man.
They really do. They really, and you bring up so many great points, right? So I'm gonna say this, right? So when I was diagnosed, you go when anyone goes through a diagnosis, they with an incurable disease, it's not easy to, deal with and everything, right? So maybe for like I don't know, maybe for like a month or so, I was the victim, like, oh my God, why did this happen to me and everything? But finally, I was able to move past that. One of my mentors said, this is bigger than you, Anthony. And, that was something that I've really, have taken to heart and looked at it, right? So to your point, like people, if they are like you have a choice every day to either be pathetic. And when I say pathetic, I just mean that I'm just kind of using your word. But let's say in the situation that I was in, I could have taken this and just brought my life down and just had negativity and everything like that. But instead, I worked through that, and I was able then to say, okay, I'm not mad at people because in corporate America, we talk about language and everything like that. Forget about all that. Corporate America overall is a healthy place. Like they only want healthy people in there. So I could have I could have lashed out specifically at people, at companies, and this and that. And no, that's not it. You got to be kind. You have to be authentic, and you have to get out there and just have balls to do it because there aren't many people that will represent themselves and say, you know what, this is me. I've got multiple sclerosis. I've got, this and that. But you know what? I'm an entrepreneur with MS. That is my brand. And corporate lingo and this and that, that's out. Everything has been shed from that. And once people can shed what is not natural for them, oh my God, the world is like the opportunities are unbelievable. And you pretty much wrote the book on that, Sarah.
Oh man, I don't know if I wrote the book on it. I think a lot of it what has to do with it probably my language and the kind of what I my ethos is honestly growing up in the Northeast. The Northeast is not a place where you can play it safe. And honestly, if we don't like you, we'll tell you straight to your face.
Yeah.
If we think you're full of shit, we'll tell you straight to your face, right? Like, and that's the thing up here is like people are just very brutally honest, and that's why I mean a lot of people want to. I mean, look how many people mock The Sopranos or The freaking Godfather or mock New Jersey and New York accents just for the sake of it. Look how many people do that. It's because everybody wants something from us. They just don't know how to get it. And I know you're in Long Island, right? New York.
Yes.
So I'm like, dude, like you can't be somebody that's just like everybody else. And like I think that's why I mean we could go down the road of like saying like a lot of entrepreneurs are struggling right now because there's using this jargon. Like if you look at any LinkedIn post right now, it's like everything's the same. Like why?
Yeah.
Why? And I keep preaching this, and everybody thinks that I'm crazy for saying like make a tagline and say this is gonna piss some people off, dude. Like you have to learn how to grab somebody's attention and say you've got to say the unpopular thing because
Well,
I already said this on another podcast episode that's literally coming out today. They're already thinking it. Who's brave enough to say it first, though?
exactly. But there are so many factors that come into play, right? I mean, so playing it safe and everything like that. When I had gone and redid, or not even redid, but when I kind of really came out in terms of, LinkedIn and really started posting every day and things like that, I didn't really know how to do it. I
Mhm.
wasn't comfortable with myself with certain things, but that's okay. So you do it, and then you start to say, you know what, this doesn't feel right. I kind of want to do this, and so it could be an evolution.
Mhm.
That can be. It is, at least for me, it's been an evolution. But once you start to realize that, wow, that stuff doesn't feel right or natural or anything like that. And by the way, I sound like a robot or I sound like everyone else. Hopefully people have the know-how that, or, to really look at themselves and say, holy cow, I need to actually, maybe I don't need to be as extreme or as loud as Sarah or Anthony, but maybe what I need to do is I kind of need to, not be this person that I'm trying to appease everyone. And that's really, I just hate the authenticity is, even though it's an overused word, it is so underused by people as well. I think that people, it's just like DEI, right? Everyone says DEI and this and that, but no one really practices it, or no one really, at least in my opinion, as someone with a disability, I can tell you right now that it's, for everyone has their own way of doing it, right? It's the same thing with authenticity. Just be your freaking self. So that's my
I
two
think
cents.
I think people are so afraid of going outside what they know, right? So like let's think about it from an indoctrination standpoint. You come out, you go to school starting what age? 4, if you're going to pre-K, right? And then all the way up until you're basically what? 22, you're in school if you choose to go to college and or trade school, right? So like your programming of indoctrination is one of almost 20 years. So they're telling you how to think, how to speak, how to critically think to their connotation of what is politically correct. And they're not telling you, yeah, being yourself actually gets you somewhere. And if it wasn't for me knowing myself, I think as well as I do now at 26, there is no fucking way. I can swear to you right now, I would be talking to billionaires and people on Netflix. There's no fucking way. Right? But because of the fact that I realized something, people at the top don't like more smoke being blown up their asses. They just don't. They want real. And if whoever's going to give them that normally is the one who gets on the call and closes the deal, man. I'm sorry. It is what it is, dude. And that goes for everyone here. I'm not a sales coach. Go talk to Anthony about this. But Anthony could probably tell you that real gets you somewhere. For example, I was on a sales call the other day, secondary sales call. We have a third one coming up next week. Dropped a $3,000 price tag. I said, take a week to think about it. No pressure. I'm not here to close on the secondary deal because it's a lot of money for a lot of businesses, right? Like I know that.
Totally.
I know
Absolutely.
that. I'm not cheap, but I know what I'm doing. So I'm not going to lower the price. But go ahead, go think about it. And she was like, but I explained to her on that call, I was like, this is wrong because of this. This is what I see because of this. This is what I see because of this, right? But like you explain it in a way where the price tag actually makes sense for the reason why you're so capable. And a lot of people, they're just like so afraid of like saying the wrong thing or hurting somebody. I'm like, dude, if you can't be honest with your clients, what the fuck are you doing here, dude?
Totally. And what's really cool about what you just said, Sarah, is that you're on your own, meaning, or we both are on our own, right? So it's our rules. We don't have anyone that's, you know, besides our conscience and besides obviously the bills that we have to pay and things like that. Those are
Right.
the, our family or whomever it is that we have to really answer to, God and things like that as
Hmm.
well, right? But at the end of the day, being having been in sales at organizations for 30 years, I would be in a situation like that. I would have a sales manager or a leader that would say, why would you even say that? Get it closed on the second deal. If you're not, then I'm just saying, just generally speaking, not
Right.
everyone's
Yeah.
like
And
that,
that's exactly what it
but,
is. They always
but
say that.
right.
Get it closed.
Totally. And I think that's and what you just there's so much to unpack on what you just said, right? The indoctrination is such an interesting and it's interesting, but it's also it's just a way that everyone is programmed, if you will.
Yeah,
That it's
man.
like
It's so bad.
you go to school, you go to college, you spend all this money in getting an education, and then all of a sudden, then you go into corporate America and you beg for a job, a crappy job that you get. And then from there, you go in with all this debt or, whatever it is.
And
And
bro,
then
you're miserable. You're
yeah, and then
miserable,
from there,
bro.
you just it's like, oh, that's the way it is, and this and that. Well, you know what? It's not the way it is. And I have two daughters, and what I do is I really try every day to really show them that look, you do it your way, and you can absolutely. It doesn't matter what everyone thinks, what you think that people think you should be doing. I don't know if that made sense, but
No, that made
o-
perfect sense.
overall, it's like be you. And,
Yeah.
obviously you have to be responsible, no doubt. I'm not saying not to be responsible, but I'm just saying that there are ways like this right here. I had my daughter. Hold on. Do you know what this is?
No.
So this is a I forget kind of who actually did it, but these dots here, this is basically how you're supposed to connect all these dots by
Okay.
with one just by with one line. And the way
Okay.
to do this is by going outside of the box. To do that, right? You do this, you go down and you go up and everything like that. I had my daughter when she was in, I think it was like fifth grade or something like that. make this. And I keep it here as a reminder that you always have to think outside of the
Yeah.
box. And that is something I always tell everyone. And that's something, I mean, obviously you might not even be thinking that well, I know you think that you think outside the box, but that comes it's pretty much, in your DNA. But for a lot of people, they need to they need the permission to do it. And they need to be reminded, or they need to see people that are doing it and then say, whoa, maybe I can do that too. And that's the problem, is that people don't really believe in themselves sometimes, that yeah, I can do this. Yeah, I can do that. But Sarah, it's okay if that's if they're comfortable in corporate America and things like that too, or whatever it is that they're doing, so be it. But you know what? People like us are going to go out there and we're going to show people what's
Yeah.
possible to do.
Yeah.
And, maybe we'll inspire a person or two.
The person who, I think there was somebody who reached out to me to be like, dude, your headline on your profile is sick. Like the controversial copywriter. They're like, why did you come up with that? I was like, people somehow always got my fucking name in their mouths. Like either good or bad. I'm like, dude, you know what? I've realized this. You're going to get hated when you say the thing that everybody else is thinking, but they're too afraid to say. It's just a fact, man. It really is. And I said to myself, I was like, and I said this on a call. We were talking about this briefly. I was like, you know, we keep sitting here and we keep telling people like be yourself and do all these things. And when it comes to that, you're not actively doing it. And it's so evident. And then on top of it, I was like, you want the younger generation to fall in the path that you had to follow in, but not think any differently. So that's hypocritical. We keep saying to ourselves, like, we should be helping the next generation in succession of success, but yet no one's fucking doing it. And it's like hypocritical. So don't open your mouth and say that you want to help and you don't, right? So, like, I don't know, man. Like, I think we live in a time where we're just lying to ourselves, honestly. It's like a fucking epidemic, dude. Seriously. It's an epidemic for how many people are lying to themselves. It's so sad.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. And it's something that I see so clearly now, and especially after really coming out with MS and everything, that I start to really see. I'm like, oh my God, I actually see. And that's the thing too, is that people need to be healthy, and they need to, mental health is so important for everyone too.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
no doubt, Sarah. I mean, look, I'm not saying everyone had, I am saying that everyone's got something,
yeah.
right? We all have something. There's no doubt. Just because I have MS doesn't mean that makes me any worse
People
off
walk
than
around with
anyone else.
unhealed trauma every single day, bro.
Absolutely. But the problem that a lot of people have is they don't want to, sometimes they don't want to face it, or maybe they're afraid of. I think the biggest thing is that I see is afraid of failure. Like what happens if
Yes.
you actually, and I was actually, after my first startup, I have this, I'm on my second startup now, but my first startup was in 2007. And I left my job to do it. It was going to be awesome. If you ever heard of the company next door, I was trying to do that way back when, and it was great. I built a great team and everything. Boom, and then it didn't work. Then there were some issues with it not working. Plus, not knowing that I was not kind of healthy in the head at that time too. There were some things that probably other factors. My point is this: after that experience, Fordham University, which is where I went undergrad and graduate school, they asked me to come back and speak to undergraduate classes, undergraduate entrepreneur classes about overcoming failure, that failure is okay. And I couldn't believe how, and to your point as well, like, it's so excitable, like when you hear, like, yes, failure, it's okay to fail. Like I just couldn't believe firsthand, and that was back in 2009 until 2021. Holy cow! I mean, there are so many. There, I call them kids, but there are so many young adults that are in college and things like that that are so afraid of it. Put yourself out there, do it. You know what? If you don't fail, if you don't make a mistake, how are you gonna freaking learn? right? I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I'm sure you were not. I mean, look, we were all born a certain way with like, speaking outwardly and things like that too. And, we had gifts, but it probably took you a little while to, pull everything together. And once you did, it was like, boom, I don't care. I'm gonna freaking fail. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna plow through it because I truly believe in it. And I think a lot of people, when they're that indoctrination, I think really leads them to believe that, oh my goodness, am I okay to, dress or speak a certain way because my manager really feels that way? And all of a sudden, it's like your manager becomes like the center of your life. And it's like, come on, dude, get a hold of yourself. You are who you are. And, don't think just because of a certain channel, you can't be yourself. And that's a sad thing to be. So,
Dude, I was raised with a very, very strict Chinese parent, okay? However, yes, he made me very afraid of failure. So I had to learn in entrepreneurship that it's okay to fall on your face 1,000 times. And the first 3 years, get ready, ladies and gentlemen. If you have a brand new startup, get ready to fail over and over and over. Just a disclaimer, and expect to fail too. But failure is a good thing. What my dad did was like, oh, well, I can teach you, but if you still do it, you're gonna fall on your face. I was like, which is a way of emotionally manipulating your child to basically think that failure is not okay. And I'm like,
right.
failures taught me more about myself and what I need and how I want to do things versus what my dad's standard is. And mind you, he's a very successful entrepreneur. He's at 8 figures, potentially, in at least 20 million, I think he's definitely done in his career in
Wow.
sales in general. So, like, you know, getting to that level is obviously the peak, right? But also at the same time, you cannot wish somebody to not fail. Failure is a very, very good thing. It is such a healthy thing in your personal life and in entrepreneurship. When you fail, write it down every single time and be like, what did I learn from this? How does this process need to be tweaked just ever so slightly, right?
Yeah.
And it's honestly the first 3 years I would say is definitely just R&D, is research and development, right? Testing your theory out multiple different times with different clients, saying like, okay, blah blah blah, this doesn't work. For prime example, I just realized LinkedIn, when you post, AI scanning for keywords, even though they're not using the hashtags, they're scanning for keywords. And that's why my impression rate is all over the place. And I was like, why is that the case? And then I looked, I was like, oh, I was like, then I realized, I'm like, that's something that I didn't know. But if you
Interesting.
watch the
I'm
algorithm,
gonna have to see that. I'm gonna have to
yeah.
check that out
Yeah,
because
and I
mine
can
had been
show
all
it
over the
to you.
place recently too. Yeah.
I can show that to you. So that's when I learned. I was like, okay, that needs to come out because people should know that. The higher rate of impression is based off your SEO and keywords inside your actual post. And I'm like, you know what? That's okay. I didn't know that, but now I do because I studied the pattern, right? But people are so afraid to fail. And like you need to learn how to like take those failures and learn from them. There's nothing wrong with it.
Oh man, I love this conversation, and I have a couple of things I do want to say if you don't mind.
Go
I
ahead.
mean, the first thing is that what I would always say to people, and I will say right now is that, and I was probably, even though I was guest lecturing and everything like that to a class, I was also trying to convince myself a lot of these things as well, right? So
Yeah.
here I am lecturing to students and everything, but yet lecturing also to myself to
Mhm.
try and really understand that. And here's the thing, right? With failure, failure is a really interesting thing in entrepreneurship. Yeah, you're gonna fail and this and that. It's more than that. It's not just failure, it's learning, right? So don't people say, oh, failure is such a bad word, and whatever, call it whatever you want. Learning,
Right.
call it failure, anything. You could put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig. So anyway, the point is that you people need to, I think, more so they need to get behind something that they are passionate
Yeah,
about,
man.
that they love. Because when shit hits the fan, when you are going through those, when you're going
Really
through
tough
rough
times.
times, you're then able then to say, you know what? It's all good. I can get past this. I mean, you're still going to deal with anxiety and this and that, but if you love something so much and you're passionate about it, you were gonna get through that instead of saying, "Oh man, this stinks," and then all of a sudden your quality of life stinks. And I don't care how much money you're going to be making, but if you make, let's say, even $100 million or something like that, money is not everything. Money is a result of something that comes when you're passionate about something and you're executing on that, and you're actually providing, in my opinion, making an impact for
Oof, you
people and
just
doing
touched
something that you
something.
love, right? And but the
Yeah.
other thing also that I wanted to say as well, I think, hold on, let me make sure I still have it in my mind. I know. Keep what you were going to say. I'll think about that. That was the
Okay.
first thing I wanted to say.
You just touched upon something that Kayla Cardona brought up last night on a coaching call. She's like, you know, money's great, but if you don't got purpose, I don't know what you're doing here. Like, it's like clearly Sarah is very passionate about writing. It's like, and obviously, like, it's a real skill set to have. How to turn words into generating cash. It's an art, right? I was like, and I basically referred to it like this. I was like, guys, it's really no different as if you're on a sales call. I basically write sales calls on paper. That's it. That's really it, right?
Yeah.
Like there's no way it's not me trying to motivate you, right? It's a way of me being like, I know psychology really well. I know how a lot of people think. And I'm like, based off this target audience that the client has, I think they think like this. Let's write this style versus another style for another client and their audience. Because every single audience is completely different. You have to write to the appeal of your audience. But and things like that. And like honestly, dude, like, oh man, what you just said is fucking brilliant, dude. Like,
Well, it's the truth, right? I mean, because it really drives everything. Like, at least for me, it took so long for me to really truly figure out. I mean, I knew that I had to get back into corporate America after I failed and everything, and I wasn't crazy about it. And I just wasn't totally passionate about, you know, selling what I was doing. I'm passionate about sales and the whole process, but when you're not really passionate about something and it's kind of a means to an end, and you have to be a good provider, and that's a thing too. You have to take responsibility, and sometimes you do things that you don't want to do
right.
because you have to support and do everything you have to do for the family. That is so important. So I'm going to say
Yeah.
that. But what I knew, where what a lot of people I know feel this way too, is that when you're doing something and it's empty, it's really hard for people that are truly authentic and really they know they have a purpose. Like, I knew all along in my life that, look, I'm here. I have a bigger purpose for, instead of selling like these internet circuits or things like that. Now, I still sort of do that, but I look at it as in a much different light now. And I'm doing something that is, you know, putting everything together, that now I'm following
Hmm.
my passion, following what I am, what I know that I'm here for. And just like you, like writing and everything like that, that comes out, when you are truly aligned, and you, like I was saying to you, when you're manifesting, right? And that's
Yeah,
the other
man.
that's the other part of it too.
Dude, like I personally believe I was like I actually tell people this now. Um, don't come to me unless you're aligned with yourself because your copy will still be shitty.
That's a great point. Yeah.
I was like, I can't write from the standpoint of you not being aligned. Like, know what you want and know your desired outcome, because if you don't know that, you're wasting my time and you're wasting your time because you don't know what you want. But most importantly, you're wasting mine. I don't have time for that shit. And it doesn't just come back. It's never about the money. It's about knowing what you want in entrepreneurship. And that's why the episode that's also coming out today, I talked about SMART goals, right? Write out the acronym of SMART and make an acronym, make your goals attainable, specify them, right? Like you got to do all these things that are actually like on point. Like literally December 31st, I was in bed with my lap desk with my pen and paper in hand, writing out my goals for 2026, right? I don't know who else does that, but that's a great exercise for everybody. Like take a piece of
Oh,
advice here.
that's amazing. Oh, what I used to do, Sarah, and I'm so happy that you're touching upon this. I used to build vision boards. for myself. And
Everybody does that. It's such a great idea.
I started doing that in, I think it was 2017 or so. And let me tell you something. I mean, if I ever show you my vision boards, and I used to actually show my classes and things like that that I would lecture in, what a disaster. But I could tell you right now, back in 10 years ago when I had those vision boards that were like, that looked like I threw up on it or something like that,
Mhm.
I am doing exactly what I sketched out in that vision board. Now, it didn't come out exactly what it was named and this and that, but it is exactly
Right.
what I do. So to your point, like writing things down, having a good having a good I guess roadmap, if you will. I hate using that word too sometimes, but at least guide, knowing what you're doing. And one of the things I used to do as well is that I would always put a theme for the year.
Okay.
And so like this year, I actually haven't done it. I've been so caught up in just kind of living what
The
I'm
yeah,
doing right
the
now.
busy day-to-day life. Yeah, for sure.
So I mean that's it. But one other thing I just remembered that I wanted to mention is that you talked about you know getting feedback from people, and and that's part of the failure, and you learn and everything like that. Well, when I the first step of my reinvention was to go on LinkedIn and just redo my personal brand. And a year and a half ago, whenever it was, but in July of 24, I think it was. And let me tell you, my posts and everything, they were terrible. But you know what? They also, and I was hiding my MS, so there was a lot of things that I just wasn't doing. But the point is this: put it out there, and then you could see what works, see what doesn't in real time. But you have to be able to take that criticism, able to look through it and say, you know what, this worked, this didn't work, okay, let's see how it works. No entrepreneur, all you see, I love that visual of like the of the what do you call it, the iceberg, where everyone sees like the top of the iceberg and they're like, oh, that's cool. But then the bottom of the iceberg is even longer, it's even bigger. And the bottom of the iceberg has everything from anxiety and failure and this and that. And that's really what people don't see. People just see, what you actually have accomplished, but the journey itself is so important. And failure and embracing that and just embracing criticism, use it as a fuel to, okay, if these people don't like it, hey, I don't like those people, oh, I'm not my market. Okay, what about these people and this and that? Just, I don't know, it's a really, if you are confident enough in yourself and you're able to open your mind to it, I mean, that's an unbelievable way to really help yourself, because it's primary research when you put yourself out there. Dude, that's the primary research. And people, that's how I learned that sales is something that I realized that founders don't really know how to sell, or some of them,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And I didn't know that until I started posting, because I did not, Sarah, go out to uh start a my sales company. I went out to do a technology advisor, become a technology advisor, which is what
Yeah.
I've done in the past too. Holy cow! I was like, whoa, there's so many people that don't know how to sell. Wow, what I've done, I think it comes second nature. You mean you would actually pay me money to
Teach
help you
you how to
out?
do it? Yeah.
I'm like, whoa. I'm like, okay, cool. And I still to this day feel sort of uncomfortable asking people for money, because it's like I know how to do it so well. And like I just want to help people. But I
It
also have to pay my
sales
bills too.
sales was I was 22. I was on the phone with my stepmom and I said, I'm like, I don't want to do anything else other than sell for the rest of my life. I was like, this is the best fucking career anybody can choose. However, it's also the one that requires the most amount of resiliency and balls. You got to be courageous to be in what we do, right? And I feel like selling copy to people is a lot harder because especially with AI and everybody using it now, I'm like, I will take a back seat because let me tell you something. I keep now seeing they're like, well, how much do you charge? Because my posts aren't doing well. I was like, show me a couple of them that you've written. I'm like, oh, no wonder why. You have a bunch of emojis. Everything's like not the same font size. Nothing spaced out. There's no clear message to what you're trying to write. And there's no CTA. I was like, dude, like, what are you like? Yeah, like to do all that. I'm like, yeah, it's this amount of money, right? But like, people are so afraid to like go after what they want. And sales clearly requires you to have that tenacity to to be able to fucking go out there and be like, yo, there's a problem out here. I can solve it. I have a provable system that fucking works. This is how much it costs. Do you want it or not? That's literally what sales is.
It's all about it's and I'm going to take it a step further for you. It's all about expression. And it's all about how you are expressing yourself and bringing it back
Mhm.
to authenticity and just being a good human being. And it doesn't matter. You don't have to put on a hat of being a total asshole because you're in sales or something like that and you take on a different persona. No,
Oh.
first of all, people, personal brand means that it's personal and that transcends everything that you do. Okay. So personally, professionally, everything, that's your brand. That's who you are. So when you can normalize that for yourself, if you're authentic personally, you got to be authentic professionally as well. Because number one, people buy from people. But number two, you know, I think you were saying in the beginning, like people have their bullshit radars on
Yes,
constantly, right?
dude.
So it's like, is this person like, if I'm going to spend that kind of money, is that person really like, is that person like, can I trust that person? Is that someone I want to spend that money with, or I want to do things? And to your point too, turn people away that maybe you don't have the money for this. Maybe you're not ready for this. And that's really, that's a really great gesture to do as well. So there's so many things. I think it comes back to, like you were saying in the beginning, it comes back to authenticity
Yeah,
and
man.
expressing yourself in a very clear way that feels good, that aligns with who you are, what you believe in, and everything.
I keep telling people, I said this to somebody too the other day. I was like, when you are writing a post, you need to appeal to one person. You need to get one person to understand your message. You need one person to understand your story. You need another person. I don't know why they just did that.
Whoa,
I
look at all those
don't
balloons.
know why I just did that. Oh, okay, Mac, whatever. I'm not cutting that out either. Maybe that's a sign from God saying like you just hit a clearly something on it. And,
That's
and
it.
that's the thing, but like what I was referring to earlier is like everybody chases the approval of an entire mass crowd of like 1,000 people, and you
Yeah.
don't. Are 1,000 people gonna buy from you? If you're lucky enough within the next 3 years, great, awesome, phenomenal. But 9 times out of 10, no, you might not even get 20 of those people out of 1,000, right? So you need to start appealing to people that resonate with you versus over the people that don't resonate with you. And guess what? Everybody is different for a reason, and that's okay. Stop trying to be liked by fucking everyone because it will never work. You'll always walk on eggshells for somebody. And honestly, it's just like you're running in circles to no avail. There's no end of that crap because then you're like, damn, no offense, Anthony, about your age. You're going to wake up and you're like 53 years old and you're like, fuck, I literally just wasted my
Oh
entire
my
life
God.
trying to get liked by everybody and chasing everybody's approval.
Dude, absolutely. I mean, that is so it's so true and so important. I mean, it really is. And you have to there is a there's a big part of it too, part of the journey where you have to go through certain things. You have to. I've had clients that were not aligned with what I was doing and
Think we
how I
all
was doing
have.
things. And in fact, I redid my whole entire business after one of my clients where I was like, this is not working. I'm
Yeah.
not. This is not who I am and everything. Great people and everything, but it was just not what I set out to be. So you have to go through those things sometimes to really understand the not only the pain that you're going through, but also knowing what's not working and really why, kind of shifting a little bit and saying, okay, cool. I don't recognize this is not what I'm doing. This doesn't feel right. Let me do something that does feel right. And sometimes, you need that you need a push and reminder to see what doesn't work in order to see what works.
when you figure that out and you have a provable system, you will become successful.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
you don't get there without doing it, right? Like I know a couple people that are writers. I have another copywriter that I interviewed, and I had another person that owned a writing agency for a couple years, was doing like at least 5 figures a month for sure. And he
Wow.
was, yeah, he had like 50 writers under him too. Like he was a big company that he started. And we all said the same thing. You guys got to be yourselves when you're writing. You guys got to be yourselves. Like if you're having three people at different stages in copywriting tell you that, like you guys need to start fucking listening to us. Because to no avail, you're not gonna you guys gotta learn how to like express yourselves the right way. And I don't know where it stems from when a lot of people, when we look into people's childhoods, I honestly think that's where it stems from. Like a lot of people have very broken childhoods, right? And if you don't heal a part of that, the real you that's dying to come out will not come out because you're not resolving whatever is hidden and or in secret that's broken. You're not fixing that, right? So like your real authentic version of yourself is dying to come out, but you're just not fixing the other thing that's blocking that person from coming out.
Exactly. Exactly.
Dude, couple last questions before we wrap up. Where can people find you?
So people can find me at my landing page, my website, which is loboai.ai. You can also find me on LinkedIn, Anthony Lobosco, Lob as in boy, Osco. I post 5 days a week about sales, nothing long. I've learned over the course of time, and as a copywriter, I'm sure you can really relate to this. That look, depending on who you are targeting and who you are trying to message, I only do 10-line posts, right? So my posts are not long. My posts are concise and you know, that's it. Like I hope that they're pretty
Chef's
they're
kiss from
just
a copywriter.
yeah, right? I mean, I don't need to I was doing long posts, Sarah, and I realized I'm like,
Who the
I wouldn't
hell's
even
got the
read I
time to
wouldn't
read a
even read that.
Bible? No, not
I'm
at
like,
nine
I
in the
wouldn't even
morning. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I don't want to read that. I've actually seen like two line posts that are really good. I mean, I anyway, that's how I do things, my posts and everything. So that's how you can find me. And this month coming up in March is MS Awareness Month. So I am going to be posting over the weekends about some a lot of things about MS in terms of really creating awareness about it because I'm an advocate. I'm an ambassador for the MS Society, for MS in general, and just humanity and society. I mean, just being a good human being. So that's it. Might not be the most popular thing to do and make some people feel uncomfortable, but you know what? I really don't care because the people that do, and even if it's one person that sees it and says, wow, you know what? I need to really know this, and they're going to be nicer to somebody else that may have some symptoms or things like that they don't really know the invisible disease. I've done my work. I've done my job.
And I respect that a lot. Best piece of advice you've ever gotten, and why is it so important to you?
Best piece of advice is to just be yourself all the time and keep going. I would say keep going is probably that's my mantra is, just keep going, especially when you are whatever you are dealing with, whatever you are going through, whatever you are in your business and everything like that, if you know that what you're doing is the right thing, but yet you don't want to go any farther, that's exactly when you got to step it up
I
because
love that, man.
that's when you like exactly like right at that moment when you're like, oh man, I don't know if I can go anymore, that means success is right around the corner and you just have to keep going. So
Yeah, I went through something very personal last year, and I was like, I'm so tired. Like I honestly, I took a step back or a couple and reevaluated what it is that I wanted and how that experience really changed my trajectory in the future. And then on top of it, like it really affected my own mental health. And like, let me tell you something, like if you go through some hard shit, what do you learn from it is obviously what I keep saying is like it's really important to like take what you learn from something that's a negative experience, like take something from it and learn from it. And then on top of that, like how do you grow? How do you grow from this? What pivot do you have to make that's going to resonate with people? And so far, what I decided was, is like, I'm just going to be authentically myself and I just don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks about me. Let me tell you something, it's working out real well.
Yeah.
Because
I
people
mean,
already were thinking the exact same thing I was.
yeah, but you know what, Sarah? What that does, and even for me as well, like, in terms of messaging and telling people, my situation, how I'm doing things,
Hmm.
it gets rid of the people that are not supposed to be there.
Hmm.
Whether you know them, whether you thought that they were friends or not, gets rid of them. And then
Oh, that's huge.
aligns you with the people that are very much aligned with you and can really benefit in a really good way. Because look, not to be a hokey and everything, but it really is all about good vibes and really just kindness and love. And that's really what I want to be surrounded with. And that's a big part of my mental health is to not be around people that suck. And let me tell you something, that is the key.
Oh, people that suck. I've been around those people for long enough, man. And I'm only 26 and I just got here, right? But it's we can make an entire another podcast about that alone on
Totally.
that fucking topic.
But
Um,
Sarah, honestly, I didn't really know like how that is how important that is because that really does have an effect on people's mental health. So
people that are so I don't even know what to call them right now, but I guess selfish and like Debbie Downers and negative and they, project negativity. Those people are normally one, this is gonna sound so brutal, don't give a fuck. I
I can't
just
wait to hear
don't care.
this.
I don't give a fuck anymore. You're fucking broke. And it's clear and it's very obvious. If you project negativity, you're broke. And we all know it. Okay. I don't have like people
And
that
now,
are
let me say this: broke doesn't necessarily mean money. Broke could mean
up
ethics, could
here,
mean up here, and everything like that too. Absolutely.
but 9 times out of 10, there's a correlation between up there and in your pocket.
Yeah,
Sorry, that's a fucking
true.
fact. Okay.
Absolutely.
And then on top of it too, if you're that negative, honestly, you will not survive in entrepreneurship. You cannot have a negative mentality here because and I made a podcast about this alone that's coming out today too in the same episode. I said there are going to be months that you literally do not make money and you guys need to learn how to pivot and you guys need to learn how to be resilient and bring that to the table and that's okay. It's okay not to make money for a couple months if you know how to stretch your budget and know how to plan correctly, financially speaking, right? And like I know a lot of people they just think like the lie keeps getting sold like, oh, like it's gonna be straight uphill. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like this, dude. Like that's how entrepreneurship really is. There are months that you don't make money. There's months that you make like 18 grand, right? So like you can't you guys gotta learn how to plan. You guys gotta learn how to budget correctly. But for the people that are negative, it's very clear to me that you guys have no sense of self, and you guys are very, very broken individuals. And I've quite frankly, this is gonna sound terrible. I don't fucking feel sorry for you because you choose that every single day.
Amen. Preach, Sarah.
I
Preach.
know, dude. I feel like I'm preaching over here.
I
I'm
love
like,
it.
I think that I think probably why I get hated so much is because I'm the young one saying what everybody else has been thinking for 30 years. And except you, like most people, not you specifically, but most people just didn't have the balls to say what I'm saying now.
No, exactly.
And it takes a lot of courage to call people out on their shit. But also at the same time, Jesus was the OG truth teller. And I consider myself the realest person in the fucking room, right? So, like, I'm not going to sit here and keep my mouth shut when you're
Amen.
asking for my fucking opinion. I'll give it to you straight. I won't lie to you. Sorry, man. Last question, brother. What does unbreakable mean to you?
Well, unbreakable, I mean, it does have a different, much different view, much different definition for me. Unbreakable just means that it is something where you are. able to just persevere regardless of I mean so many different, whether it's health
Hmm.
pressures from people, pressures from work, or launching a business from
Yeah,
scratch and reinventing yourself at 53 years old and stuff like that too. um that is what unbreakable is. And you have to, in my opinion, unbreakable for me means that I am steady, focused, and aligned
dude.
under the toughest circumstances.
Dude, your story inspires me just to keep going, man. Seriously, I want you to hear that from me. Um,
Means a lot.
incredible,
Thank you.
incredible podcast. I'm excited to see what you do next and how you move in your business. And literally, bro, nothing but the best of luck to you and the most amount of abundant success that you can achieve, bro.
Oh,
Seriously.
please, you as well. You're amazing. And you've inspired me already on my posts and just reminding me to just be yourself. And who cares what other people think, and just stop writing for others. Write for, what's really inside you, and that'll come out. And who cares? And once I started to, honestly, after we spoke last week, I think my posts have really changed a lot from that.
I'm
And
gonna
not
look
just
at
my
them. I'm
posts.
gonna be like, give you some feedback and be like, yo, dude, like, I think
I
that
don't want
you,
to get too excited. I'm not like, a major, like,
oh,
writer or
hell no.
anything like
Let's
that,
let,
like you. But I'm just saying, if you compare what I've done probably over the past few months to what I have today, I'm telling you, it really has had an
it's a
effect.
nine
So
day
you're
difference.
inspirational as well.
And that's why I do what I do. And it's not even about the making the money part, right? It's about teaching people that the online space is so crowded that you have to do something ballsy to stand out.
It's yeah, and it's so sad that even in with like billions of people online and everything like that, the ones that are actually, I mean, think about it, the ones that are authentic and real are the ones that stand out of all those
Like a
people, all
sore
those
thumb.
fake people on Instagram and everything like that. Like the ones that are themselves, those are the ones that really catch the attention of the right people, right? I
Dude,
mean, that's what it comes down to.
great advice. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up and just being authentically yourself. Best of luck to you, brother.
Yeah, you too.
Guys, until next time.